I don't really have to say much because his video is so freaking cool that it's going to do most of the talking and show you what this guy's all about. But I'm just lucky to know him because we've been friends for a while because we met on the competition scene. And at one time, I keep forgetting, at one time he lived in New Orleans. He is truly a tech wizard, and you'll see what I mean. He is not afraid of technology. And to top it all off, not only is he talented, but he's adorable as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Trigg Watson.
Trigg Watson.
Trigg Watson.
Trigg Watson!
The camera on the back here is really good about representing three-dimensional reality on a two-dimensional screen. It's conductive enough to actually amplify the cell phone signal so much that it actually intercepts the Amazon cloud. Type in Nerf gun during search for Nerf gun.
Delivering your Amazon order.
Baby carrot, no. This is a magic time-traveling baby carrot. Break that carrot in half. Saying Kevin 804.
All right. Yes, indeed. And here he is live and in virtual. Trigg Watson. There he is.
Hey,
all right.
everybody.
How you feeling?
I'm great. Yeah. Thank you. Played the whole video. I feel like I feel like there's nothing more to say. I think we can.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes and we're cutting it.
Like 15 years of my life in 2 minutes.
I didn't even play my own full video, and I was basically prepared to like play the beginning of most people's promo and then get to it. But really, that is well done. You have a lot of good stuff in there. It's packed with really engrossing routines where you want to know more, you want to see what's happening. A lot of your other socials too, I felt the same way where I was like, show me more. This is really some people show too much and you're like, okay, I get it. But when you can just tease them, since we know that magic really is meant to be live anyway. So it's like, show them a little bit that makes them want to see you in person because they're not going to believe it on camera. Right. So before we get, because I want to ask you more about that, but before we get into tech stuff, I have to ask all my guests, what is something up your sleeve? What do you bring to the table?
Well, you've sort of already hit on it in a way. I mean, I haven't always branded myself as a technology oriented kind of magician, but I will say I always love trying to push magic into new places, and I love inventing, sort of taking old principles and putting my own spin on them. And over the past few years, I found that a lot of my ideas sort of had some sort of technological element, not necessarily because I live and breathe technology, but just because we are living in that kind of world. And I think magic is often strongest when it really embraces the world that we're in. When we're it uses stuff that feels organic to the environment we're in. And these days we can't escape it. Everyone has a phone in their pocket. Everyone has a camera. We have these screens around us. So for me, those items become the raw material.
And you're essentially using their own technology against them, because what becomes magical is the fact that they're used to it. They think they know these gadgets and how everything works. So then all of a sudden they realize they know nothing, and the impossible is still happening.
Yeah, there's sort of an overused quote that magicians like to reference, me included, which is Arthur C. Clarke saying any sufficiently advanced form of technology is indistinguishable from magic. And it's true. And the danger with that, I think, is that sometimes we magicians can use technology in our shows in a way where the audience all of a sudden isn't sure whether what they're seeing is just some technology they don't understand or whether it's a magic trick. So I try to be careful while I do incorporate, modern technology into my stuff. I try to keep the props still familiar to the general population. Like, I'm not quite ready to do something with a 3D printer in my show necessarily, because not everyone has a 3D printer at home yet. We're not at that stage, So while I am a tech act, I try to make sure that the props are still recognizable and familiar to people, so that when the magic happens, it feels like magic and not just crazy tech.
Yeah, there's two different ways of looking at it. You can use tech as the gimmick itself, as the behind the scenes, and people will often accuse us of that even when we're not using it. But what we're talking more about is how you're breaking the pattern. You're blatantly showing them the technology, but things are happening which are unexpected. Oh, I just remembered there's another video which I found when I was looking through your stuff. I don't know if we're going to have time for everything, but I'm real big on improv, and I talk each of these segments. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we incorporate improv and the power behind that. And you and I improv. Do you remember this? We improved a routine for a news station.
Yes.
And I sat there going like, this is how little I remembered. I was like, where was this?
Well, I remember it was the Winter Magic Festival in Indianapolis.
Yes,
that was. I had a great time performing there.
It took me a second. I'm gonna find that one. But you said you have a routine that you might want to do for us.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say, just sort of going off of your point, because I, as a magician, currently choose to sort of incorporate technology into my presentations, I sort of paint myself in a corner that a lot of magicians don't, which is that because my routines are often themed around technology, my methods have to become more practical to be deceptive. Where we magicians sometimes use fancy technology secretly and make it look like it's really low tech when really we've got like some fancy gadget that's going underneath the scenes. For me, my deception has to be kind of flipped, which is interesting. So anyway, all that to say, I've been, exploring some of the new tech we have around us, and we're living in this world in which the digital worlds and the physical worlds are kind of blending together in really bizarre ways. And I think a perfect example of this is the concept of augmented reality, which some of you may be familiar with. Michael, I'm wondering, just so people can appreciate this, would you be willing to make me full screen for just a moment?
Absolutely.
I forgot to ask this of you. But so if you're not familiar with virtual or augmented reality, basically the idea that you can take digital objects and place them in your physical environment using something as simple as your phone camera. So this is a food AR app. There's like avocado, burger and fries with some sports items, basketball. Let's use the soccer ball for this. I'm actually going to switch us over into a different camera, so hopefully this will work okay. And this way everyone gets a nice up close and personal view. So we got a 2-camera shoot going on. I'm going to move us right over here, and then I'll put this table here as well. And check this out. I worked very hard on this transition. There we go. All right. Now, the first step of using an augmented reality app is to scan the surface that you're placing the object on, which is exactly what I will do right now. I'm going to pull up. You'll see I've got this table here, and if I just angle this down just slightly, if I just tap, you'll notice that the soccer ball appears. Now, what's fun about this is not a video. This is responding in real time to my phone's movements. I can move the ball around. I can move it to the edge of the table. Look how realistic that looks, right? It's whenever I do this, I'm always amazed at how it just really feels like I could just kind of, I don't know about you, but it always feels to me like it's so realistic. Like I could just reach out and grab it. Now let's see how real we can make this world of augmented reality feel. I'm going to switch us around a little bit and add an extra couple items here. I actually have an iPad on which I have placed the same augmented reality app from before. And this way, you can appreciate what's happening in two places at once: the reality inside the iPad and the reality in real life. I'm going to get us a little closer here, and I'll turn the brightness down just a little bit so we can see. All right. Now I'm going to add just a couple more things here right now. We'll add some extra cups and this ball. This app actually recognizes real-life objects using these QR codes. So you can see that I've got cup A, and it's recognized by the QR code, and then I've got cup B, and it's recognized through the QR code. Let's now see if I can get this ball to travel from cup A to cup B using augmented reality. I want you to watch this through the iPad screen. Check this out, folks. Watch the screen. Whoop. There goes the ball. And now it floats over. And look, it worked. It worked in real life as well. Now let's try something a little different. We'll use the same cup, but this time try something a little bit more ambitious. I'll go to the next phase. I'll place the ball inside. Now this time I want you to watch it. In fact, you know what? We won't even use this cup. We'll just use this single cup. Check this out. I'm going to press the start button, and the ball floats up out of the cup, and then you'll see there's a green button that appears on the screen. If I press the green button, the ball gets a little larger, and whoop, it drops back into the cup. Now, what I love about this technology is that it really allows us to mess with our physical environments in ways that we really never have before. For example, if I hold this here, let me move this over just slightly. If I hold this ball like in front of the iPad, you can see it's pretty small. But if I hold it way back behind the iPad camera, see how the ball can kind of, like the shape of the ball can kind of change, or the perspective can kind of change. If I hold it really far away, it looks pretty small. If I hold it really close, if I hold it super close, then your perception of what's real and what's digital can start to blur. And I'm not just talking about the things that you're expecting me to talk about. I'm not just talking about the soccer ball, for example, or even myself. Am I a simulation? What in this environment can you trust or not trust? I mean, is this really an iPad, or instead is it more of a window, more of a portal?
Oh my goodness.
To a reality that isn't augmented at all. The more astute amongst you may have noticed I did just turn an Apple Mac device into a Microsoft Windows device. There you go. A little AR magic for you.
Incredible.
Thank you very much.
We don't have my applause sound effects going right now, but I so wish we did, because I would play it for the next 30 minutes. That was so above and beyond anything I could have expected. I was like, hey, you want to show a trick? You want to maybe you could teach a little something in case there's like some wannabe magicians who, it's open to the public. They can chime in and they can I could show a coin trick or something. Oh my God, that was an entire routine, and we're blown away.
Thank you.
So well done. Love it. Oh, I love it so much. Now I'm gonna have to rewind the VOD of the stream and watch it over and over. No, don't do that. So how do you get over I think that I speak for a lot of people when I say I'm not one of these that's against technology or would say like, oh, well, that's not the real magic like we know it. You have to, like you said, use what people are familiar with. How do you get over the fear of the more tech you have, the more things that can go wrong? Like the more you're relying on technology, just like doing this, all the little intricate things I have to make sure are set up just to stream live. That's all technology. So how do you overcome that?
It just means more work, basically. It means longer checklists and more time prepping for the show in advance. I'm a bit of a masochist. Yeah, tech does, any minute you add more tech, it takes a little bit more effort and there's more things that can go wrong. I think what I've just learned is that maybe more than other magicians, I have to embrace contingency plans. And that my show can go in any number of directions depending on whether the camera's working or not, or whether there's a glitch with an app, just being prepared. And suddenly, in some ways, that's very freeing of like, knowing what the ideal show is, but also knowing that because I've added so many variables into my act, I have to also be comfortable with going with the flow and quickly changing direction if something goes wrong.
And that's an important point because, I talk a lot about improv and using that as a tool, but people would expect that the more practiced, the more refined you are, you wouldn't rely on that. But you're good, like you said, you're going to have even more situations that you have to prepare for what could go wrong. What is something that has happened to you that maybe an improvised moment or something that changed the way you perform an effect now, or that you kept in the act?
Oh, man, you saw that in my little sizzle reel. There's a moment where you saw like my Bill and Orange routine, and I have this sort of weird callback. There's a baby carrot, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the trailer because you have to see the whole show. But one night I was opening up the orange to reveal this, amusing callback of a baby carrot, and someone in the audience said, "Oh, it's a boy." And it was just a silly joke, but it was so good that became a line that I use in my show.
And you got that line from the audience. That's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Other times, I've certainly had times where, like unexpectedly, not all my luggage has arrived at an airport, and I've had to board a ship, and then I've spent, I've had like an hour to get ready to perform on a cruise ship that night, and just have to work with what I've got. It's whenever you're working professionally.
That situation is what inspired the bag of tricks contest that exists today with the PCAM, because of when that happened to Sean. Of what your stuff's gone. I think he said he watched his fall into the ocean, and so like, now what do? Well, it's time to take a trip to Walmart and test your skills, Magic Boy. Right? That's excellent. There is one thing that I do want to talk with you about later, and that the orange thing with the carrot was a perfect segue. However, because everything we're keeping here is family oriented, I do want to remind people that don't know, we have what I'm calling the after party. So, because we are streaming also live on my new Twitch channel, and that way, because we only have about an hour here, if you can stick around, we'll ask some more questions. We'll let people ask questions, get to know you even better. And I'll ask something about a particular sponsor you had. And I think it may have been the reason you came to visit me here.
Yes.
So I want to bring that up later as well, because that was funny when I saw that on your Instagram. I was like, what? All right, this guy's moving and shaking. So we'll talk about that as well. I want to see if you can guess something. And then I have a contest for you. And I feel like we've done nothing. I can't believe how the time goes. There are two things that I saw when I was researching your stuff. Two skills that you have, or two things you've acquired that I don't think I ever will. Do you know? Or I never have, and I don't know that I ever will. Can you guess what they are?
Okay. Well, I ride a unicycle. Do you not ride? Is that one
That's
of them?
one of them. I didn't expect you to guess that. How did you know I was going to say that?
Because you strike me as someone who could ride a unicycle potentially. So I was a little
That's what
hesitant
everybody
about.
assumes. I feel bad that I can't. I have never learned to ride a unicycle. And I don't know why people think it goes hand in hand with juggling. Just because
Right.
I'm a juggler, they just
Right.
assume like, oh, you ride a unicycle. Like for one thing, it's two different appendages that you're using. It's like, oh, you're a magician, you must be good at shadow puppets. At least that uses the hands. But no, one of the reasons is another juggler who's way taller than me, Juggler George, kept his unicycle on my porch at my house in the French Quarter for years. So people would come over and see it there and naturally just assume it was mine. And then they didn't understand when I would tell them, actually, I don't know how to ride one. And I couldn't ride that one because it was for him and it was way too tall. Like, I'd have to unlock everything and switch it around. And, that was his unicycle. So that was one of them, riding a unicycle, which, by the way, is it hard? Like, you have a lot of stuff. How do you, that's a lot of props to carry. Do you like strap it to your back?
It's no longer part of my act, I'm happy to say. Just fun.
So yeah, so that's one. Okay, would you be willing to come on a stream sometime and teach me how to ride a unicycle?
On a stream? Yeah, I just want to see
Yeah?
you in front of a green screen on a unicycle. Me giving
I
you
will
pointers
do it.
every-
I gotta find one. I gotta find one that fits me. But if you
All
will
right.
teach me, we'll do it live, and I'll try to do it in front of my green. I'll probably fall, but it happens a lot. I'll probably break something, but that happens a lot too. So that was one. You guessed it, unicycle.
So the other one, well, you kind of helped me out by mentioning juggling, because obviously that's something that I do, but that wouldn't fall under that category. A skill that I have.
Let's say an accomplishment.
Oh, okay.
Call it
That
rather
is
than
different.
just a skill. It could be a skill. I'm hoping that it actually was incorporated with some skill.
Okay,
involved.
an accomplishment.
Yeah, something I've never done, and I'm not sure why you did, but I was going to ask you about it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You've kind of got me stumped. I mean, like you said, we met on the competition circuit, and there were like some teen magic competitions that I was a part of, and obviously, I'm not sure that. I mean, we weren't competing in those at the same time, so I
should have said both of these are not magic related, but I'll give it to you. You already guessed the unicycle.
All right. That's helpful. That's helpful.
You have a college degree.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah.
Well, you look so collegiate right now. You don't look like a.
I'd rather professor than pawpaw for sure.
Yeah.
And don't get any ideas, everybody. Okay. Ken is he's the president. He can call me. He's the only one that gets to call me that. Okay. So don't get any ideas. But
yes,
so
I did. I did go to college. I did. I majored in show business, is what I tell people. I studied business and theater. Did a double major.
And so I'm wondering, of your magic career, how many times have you had to use that business degree?
Well, it's funny. I feel like I use my theater training more in real life and more even like when I had a day job for a while. I feel like I use more of those skills on a daily basis. But the business degree was credibility boosting and opened some opportunities for me. And having the business major got me my first job. I was working in a corporate environment, working for a big major accounting consulting firm, and they've become my biggest magic client now that I'm a full-time magician. So,
Nice.
While I don't, I feel like I am pretty business savvy, but a lot of the business skills are more sort of just, honed over time of actually running a business. That certainly led to some cool opportunities.
Yeah, hopefully the knowledge attached to it came in handy. But of course, I always make the joke with people, for most of us who are performers, like I tell the kids, I am not a role model. Your parents don't want to hear about me not going to college, right? So, but yeah, impressive when someone in a career like ours has taken the time to do that. So that is commendable for sure.
Well, it certainly got in the way of my magic career in some ways. I took a while to finally commit to it, wholeheartedly.
Are you ready for the contest?
I am ready. Bring it on.
Okay, so I started last time what we're calling the magician pose contest, because magicians have a thing where we always have to have this, serious. I don't know what to call it other than a magician pose. A good example would be.
We could call it a crutch.
We could call it crutch.
A defense mechanism.
A defense, yeah. It's that we want to be taken seriously. So actually, you were smiling in a lot of your pictures. I did find one we're going to use, but it was a little more difficult. I'm gonna switch you for a second to I would switch back to there we go. So I can pull these up. This was Trigg, if you can see the video. Last by default. I do have 2 cameras on. Is that what's going on here? Hold on a sec. Look at that.
It looks like a magic trick happening right now.
It is totally. That is very weird. We'll call it magic, but I believe we'll just turn that one off. There we go. And that's Shin by default won the magic pose last time, but we didn't actually make it a contest. So this time we can answer in chat. So I'm going to show everybody first Trigg's magic pose, and then I'll show you the competition. And then I'm going to pull you back up in just a second, Trigg. So pose number 1, and you guys will vote in chat, okay? Pose number 1. This is what we're going to call Trigg's magician pose, and that is obviously from about 2 years ago.
Yeah, just a couple.
So that is contestant number 1 is Trigg as a younger magician making a balloon animal float. Still has the smile on, but that is going to be the magician pose. Now here's who you're going up against, Trigg. So let me show you your competition. So guys, you're going to vote for these in chat in a moment. So this is contestant number 2 is actually, you're taking on 4 magicians. This is me, Sean Farquhar, Oscar Munoz, and Victor Hadan in the back, all trying to act cool because we're at 4F. So that you're actually taking on 4 magicians as contestant number 2. However, the contest is going to get a little harder. Because what's harder than taking on 4 magicians? How about taking on not 1, but 5 Ice McDonald's? So you're going against 5 Ice McDonald's. I mean, can you imagine?
I'm intimidated.
Right, let me put you back. You should be. Like, nice. Wait, is that the same vest, Hans?
It is literally the same vest. It's the one piece of clothing I kept.
Oh no! Wow.
I kept it. It's the one weird thing in my closet that I saved from my early magic days.
Oh my God! Did I need to give you a little more time? Were you about to just go find an orange balloon?
Well, I got to show you. I have a pretty. I could find it pretty quickly. Like here, let me just show you what's going on over here. This is where I keep my balloons, and you know what? Balloons would be right in container 1303. So there we go.
He's not only tech savvy, he's organized.
Well, when you live in an LA rent studio apartment, you don't have like a whole house to like keep all the magic crap. So you have to be very efficient.
We may need to freeze frame that. That's some people are getting way excited just at your containers. There's your balloon.
Oh yeah, well my balloon pump just broke, so my efforts have been foiled. But no, it's an Airtable database. It is fully digitized. So
I'll do the dog.
You could
Was
name
it a dog
literally.
or a cat?
What's that?
The balloon was a.
It was a dog. It was a dog.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say that we could play a fun game where, like, if you name a random item that you think I might have in my magic workshop, I could find it within 10 seconds with my little app here.
No, what I want to do is I'm gonna hire you out to come organize my life.
I'm not available. I'm not
available. Teach me how to ride a unicycle, but organization, forget it. No, you don't want to work with this ADD brain. All right, I know how to make I can actually make a kitty cat. You want to see this one?
I'll do.
All right, hold on. Let's see if you can make it faster. Just one more twist and boom. It
amazing.
Looks real.
Incredible.
It looks like
it's amazing.
There he is. All right.
We go.
Nice. Oh, there's the doggy. Oh, wait, let me pull the picture back up. Okay, so Sean voted for you. We're gonna check the chat. I'm gonna see who won in a second. So here's the pose. Go ahead. You have your nice. Wow, that's amazing. I love it. All right, so again, you can vote for Trigg. You can vote for the 4 guys at 4F, or you can vote for 5 Ice McDonald's. All right, so let's see. Let's read the chat. Put a bubble inside the dog. Oh my gosh, we're getting requests.
I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
You've got a clear balloon though, so.
Oh no, this isn't clear. It's like a.
It isn't
balloon.
clear. Okay.
Oh, actually, nobody's gonna be able to see that. There's a bubble in it.
Well, we can use.
But there we go. Yeah. I don't know how we even started with this, but hey, why not? We can do a whole balloon thing. Yeah, there's one in here, but you can't see it.
Oh, well, all right.
There we go. Yeah, mine's slowly deflating. All right, so let's see. I'm going through the votes here. I'm tab them up. Yeah, it looks like we do have a winner. Let me take you off for a second because I'm gonna pull up the picture. And the winner is this puppy. This puppy is our winner of the Magician's Pose contest. So I'm sorry, Trigg, but as cute as your childhood magician photo is, this is a puppy with cards in its mouth.
I can't compete with that. I give
well,
up.
what else could possibly beat Five Ice McDonald's than this guy right here? So thank you very much. That was fun. All right, so we finished the pose contest. Trigg, will you be able to stick around and we'll have some fun later after this?
Yeah, I'll stick around for a little bit.
We'll keep it going. All right, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. Our very own tech wizard. That was way better than I could have expected. Thank you so much, Trigg. That was awesome.